Good morning, everyone. Hey, you're looking at my cabin on my Great Alaskan. Yeah, this is Randy Henry here in Silverton, Oregon. And I'm making a little dust out in the workshop. I've been making good progress on the cabin of the boat here. I'll explain some things that I've been doing. One thing that took me about a day to complete is that I realized to get the sole of the cabin in, I had to do a kind of a dry fit of the bow thruster. So I'll talk about that. Yeah, this is the Lewmar bow thruster that I'm installing. The tube has been there since very early in the build, but because I knew the bow thruster would come up above the floor level, I figured I would have to deal with it at some point. So here I am dealing with it in vertical. It's actually pretty easy to install. The tube here is a pre-made piece of fiberglass. I had done some filleting all the way around to make sure it's well glued into the hull, and I had to remove some of that to get this to fit on. Now the reason I positioned it forward is because I was originally going to install it back here, and I figured out that meant I'd have to have the whole floor raised really high. If I put it forward, then I can have regular floor up to here, raise it up about 3 inches or 4 inches, and then move it forward. After talking to a few other guys who are building these, I did a 2-inch diameter drain hole through there. That'll help maximize airflow. I am going to have a blower installed somewhere in here just to help flush air through and keep things good and dry. There's a little bit of a space underneath the tube, so any water that condenses, condensation or whatever, can drain out through there. And then it's a straight shot to the back until I get the other bulkheads installed. So I've got everything taped here. I glassed up about 6 inches on the bottom of the bulkhead. I have filleted all of my seams, some better than others, and I've got part of the flooring in, and yeah, it's looking fine. All right, so I'm having to do the step here, as I mentioned earlier, because of the bow thruster. So I've got this piece of flooring in, and it's really good and solid. I have a middle piece there that goes roughly in the middle, 12, 14 inches, but it's really good and stout. It's filleted in there very strongly. I've already taped the seams. I've got my step up there. That's 3/8 inch plywood, marine plywood, and then I've got a nailer up on front. So now I have cut the upper piece that'll give me room to work, and I've been working on the hatch that will let me get into the bow thruster. And this is the front section of flooring, but I cut the bow hatch here. I have cut a doubler very carefully that'll fit in there. I am now about to glue it down and do a 3rd coat of epoxy all the way around. All right, there you go, the finished product. So I got everything down. I used thickened epoxy to make those two up. Rub the thickened epoxy into the edge of all the plywood on both sides and all the way around. And I guess I'll fess up here. So I was just a few inches short, it's 2.5 inches short of the length of 1/2 inch plywood. So I scarfed, not quite scarfed, but I did a joint along the front there, glassed it, gonna double glass it. It'll be fine, it doesn't have a lot of stress on it. All right, so it's a little hard to see here, but this is the bow thruster. That is the tube into which the impeller goes. And this piece back here is a brace because I've got the motor tilted more than 15 degrees, so they say to support it with a brace. So I used double 3/4 inch glassed on, actually 4 sides, that I have reinforced on either side. And then, you can see it, I fabricated a piece of aluminum strapping to go down and under and around the bottom side of the motor for this. And then I have a strap that secures it. So I put it all together wet, hoping that as it's tightened down and this cures, it'll be in exactly the right position. And this is what it looks like from the top. It's going to be tight getting into the access hatch, but it's really not as bad as it looks. There are 4 bolts here, and I'll be able to get down to those. Then I can take off this strap and that'll free it from the support. And then this hatch will fit snugly in there. And that is the floor of my forward cabin. Got my fillets in. I'll come back when they're a little bit firmer and smooth them down. And I'll put some, I need to put a sheath of fiberglass over the top of it. So, floor is done. Next come the bunks. Yay!